So digital agencies
makeover.
have recast advertising agencies as traditional. If you guys were to describe what's the future of an agency, what does it look like, what is it called, what would you guys say?
I don't really care, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Well, the thing is, like, I think there are a lot of agencies who are like, oh, we're an idea agency, we are a cultural movement agency, we are this and that. Who cares? It's about what do you do? You know, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, every agency has some party line about what they are and what the future is. But the fact of the matter is, it's all going to a place we all dimly know is where the money's all digital, and you want to control that money and affect change for your client. But everybody's coming at it from a different set of strengths and weaknesses, so they play up their strengths, or we'll go, oh, we're all digital, we have great ideas, pure creativity, and Bob talks a great talk about the agency of the future, but we all know it's this nebulous thing, but you just say your party line about how you're going to be that first. Who knows?
I agree. I think anyone that says they know exactly what's going to happen is lying or kind of slightly deranged. But I guess the only thing I can put my finger on is you need to be a partner with your client. So, there are long-term relationships where if you're acting as the marketing department for your client, then that's where you can make some money, but you can also make some really good work because there's like a trust. I don't really, same as Mike, I don't really care if that's a digital thing, a content thing, a TV thing, whatever, who cares?
We're all trying to adapt to reestablish what an agency was to a client in the old days.
Yeah, and that will never change. I mean, that relationship will never change because you're making something for them.
And it's gone away a little bit, and I think we're trying to get it back.
A little bit because everyone's sort of skirting around trying to find, like you say, what are we good at?
Yeah, like whoever succeeds in becoming their partner to their client and controlling their money and all marketing again wins, and no one's really doing that right now. And it might
even be that, you're a partner, and then you say, well, actually, what you need here is something really, really digital, and we'll partner up with someone really cool for that. Or what you need is a motion picture, like a 2-hour movie, like a branded movie, and we'll partner up with someone for that.
Right, or maybe it's a giant conglomerate that does it all again. You know what I mean? Who knows?
But isn't it? It's beyond marketing, though, right? I mean, I think one thing we always think about is how do we become advisors? How do we use creativity as a business weapon, not as a marketing weapon, not as a product weapon, but as a business weapon?
Well, this
how
is
do
why
we
we
solve
lost
business
it.
problems, right?
I mean, that's why we lost it, is because
the
marketers know, and the brands know that marketing and CRM and public relations and all these things are becoming one, and we were all the creative agency or the brand agency or the PR agency, but it's all merging and it needs to be applied in an integrated manner again, and no entity is perfectly set up to do that yet.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that integration, beyond marketing? Agency of the future?
I mean, I think to Rick's point, there is this idea that, as consultants, and you were speaking to this as well, John, like to get farther up the chain, like where it's not just about marketing and it's more about like the specific business problems. I mean, I even look at like the Dotchess group trying to reposition themselves as kind of like social business design. And they want to move up into the chain where it's like they want to affect the internal structure of the organization that they feel like is going to have a much larger change for the wealth and success of the specific business than some marketing plan or some idea that they come out to market a specific product.
Yeah, well, it doesn't impact the product and the customer service. Those both still suck, but the branding and the marketing is great. You're still screwed, and we all know it, and that's why your creatives get disgruntled because they don't have that impact. The company you need to partner with them so far up that you can advise them on all those changes.
And I think that's the stuff that really excites everyone on this panel too, I would imagine. Like that's the stuff that everyone wants to do, and it's like because of to a certain degree, stigma or just the history of it, people perceive things in a certain way, and some agencies aren't given the opportunities like that maybe they should. I think, as you described, I think maybe the future is pushing more up into that area.
We had a really interesting experience. We launched this thing called B-Cycle, which is a bike sharing program you guys might have heard of, which has been really fun. And we look at it as a kind of a physical orientation of a digital platform. So people can usually, what we were really excited about it is that it's really a way to use digital tools to use transportation to make the world a better place. And we partner with Humana and with Trek Bikes. Well, one of the things that blew me away is when we decided to come together as a partner, Humana at their and they paid for it, but at their request, they got McKinsey to come in and value the future of the business. So, for $500,000, they spent, 3 weeks putting a number on the value of the business so we could decide how much value each of our partnerships would be. So what did we have to put into value and what percentage of the company we got? And it was just so interesting because these guys, they're great guys. They're really smart. They had a killer, platform and process, right? Yeah. But man, they had the ear of the CEO because of the McKinsey name, and they were talking in a way that we just don't have the relationship with our clients to talk that way. I think collectively as a group.
And that's coming from you guys. I mean, all the rest of us think you guys have the closest ear to the CEO as anyone,
Well, we certainly
There's no
done a better job
McKinsey of marketing right now.
There's not.
Yeah.
Right? There's not. I think that's another, to me, that's part of the future of what an agency is. It's that advisory.
Right. I mean,
something we're really working on.
When you do some consumer research and you find out that the people hate the brand because they don't give refunds, like we as marketers don't have that's a totally, or they they have bad customer service, like we can tell them, but no, there's no methodical we're the McKinsey of marketing and this is what we discovered and it's in customer service and let's change it. Everybody wants that, but nobody does it.
I think I might be simplistic about it, but I find that the McKinseys of the world have never actually really worked in these environments. They've never actually seen the application of the theory and the principles. And I think we struggle with the models and we spend so much time on panels just like this discussing that. And I find that it's the application of the work that you actually get the innovative stories to then say this is what we do in the world and how we want to move up the chain or down the chain or left the chain. So hearing about B-Cycle is an interesting example of several processes that led to do something new. That's what we should be focused on, and then dissecting that a bit. But that will be different. You couldn't replicate that again. It'll be something different.
No, that's why it's really,
for sure.
I think that's why we use McKinsey. It's not for their expertise, but that it's a partnership and a consultation and changing the processes of the company. Marketing people don't have that power right now.
But much so, but interestingly, I think, and one of the things that inspired Alex and I to write the book Baked In is that we interviewed a bunch of product designers, and one guy came in from, I forget who he was working for, but he had done all the product design for Magellan GPS. Mm-hmm. And what I found really interesting was that, we've been all of us are in this world of brands and making things work as a coherent system. And this designer had designed every one of Magellan's GPS units, a hiking unit and a car unit, and all these other units, 5 different units. And they were designed completely differently. They were 5 different brands. And we asked him, why is that? Well, his point was, I have 5 different clients. I have brand managers. I don't, the CMO and the CEO and the C-suite isn't involved in the product design business, right? Because it's all been pushed down. It's all been decentralized. So that's a huge, an issue on the opposite way, right? I mean, McKinsey's way up here. We're kind of up here. And then the product design folks are way down at the brand manager level and really struggling to even have a coherent brand strategy or even a design strategy across the whole organization. So I think, to me, it's a mashup of everything, right?